Yesterday, the giant oil company Shell announced that they're canceling an oil sands mega project in Alberta called Carmon Creek. 1,200 construction jobs gone, and 250 permanent jobs just killed. Not postponed, dead. It's a disaster for Shell. They're writing off $2 billion. But they're a big multinational company. They'll get over it. But the 1,450 Canadian families out of a job, they won't be so fine. Those were six-figure jobs, many of them Aboriginal jobs, by the way, just gone. And of course, the 80,000 barrels of oil per day that Carmon Creek was going to produce, do the math on that. Even at today's $40 a barrel or so, that's $3 million a day. When oil prices eventually go back up, which would probably have happened by the time construction was done, that's $5–6 million a day US for workers, for shareholders, and of course, the royalties and taxes paid on that. But mainly, the jobs gone. 1,450 families, husband, wife, 2 kids. That's like an entire town of 6,000 people all getting fired at once. Why? Well, obviously, low world oil prices are a part of the problem, but Shell is investing billions of dollars in other parts of the world. Plenty of oil production going on in places like North Dakota and Texas. In countries like Russia, people are still producing oil because people are still buying oil. And you're about to see a huge rush of multinational companies into Iran once the sanctions are lifted there. Shell didn't blame low oil prices for their exit. In fact, in their press release yesterday, they pointed out that just in March, when oil prices were already extremely low, they took advantage of the downturn to, quote, optimize design and retender certain contracts, unquote. As in, world oil prices are not the problem here. Their press release specifically mentioned the lack of pipelines as a problem, and that's true, but again, that's not a problem for them now. They wouldn't be producing oil for years anyways. Of course, the lack of pipelines is a problem, but it was a problem last week and last month and last year. So why did they announce yesterday that they were killing the project? Why did they announce it at 3:46 p.m. Alberta time? Well, it's obvious, because they were waiting to see what Alberta's first NDP budget looked like. It confirmed their worst fears, so they pulled the plug. Here, let me show you something. Take a look at this. This project got the go-ahead in 2013. Oil prices started to fall in late 2014. No problem. Like I said, Shell renegotiated its costs in March of 2015. So all systems go, even with low oil prices. So March 2015, it was fine. But then on May 5th, 2015, the Alberta NDP won the provincial election. The party of anti-oil extremism took office. So look at that. 3 days later, on May 8th, Shell said they were going to postpone the Carmon Creek project for 2 years. They didn't blame pipelines. They didn't blame oil prices. They said it was, quote, a dynamic picture, as in things were changing. Well, they sure were. I mean, look at this crazy guy, David Eggen. Was he about to become a cabinet minister, maybe? Take a look.
And I say that doing the right thing means that we have no new approvals for tar sand projects, and we start to invest money into a renewable energy and into a sustainable economy. No new approvals. No new approvals. No new approvals. No new approvals.
Yeah, Shell wanted to see if that crazy nut made it into Alberta's cabinet, and he did. So May 5th, the NDP was elected. May 8th, Shell said they were postponing things. Just being careful. And then yesterday, an NDP attack budget. I'm calling it an attack budget because that's what it was. Higher carbon taxes, higher corporate taxes, higher personal taxes, a promise of higher royalty taxes, a promise of global warming taxes. It's all in there. Alberta's economy has been bludgeoned with uncertainty for 5.5 months while Rachel Notley got her act together. Well, yesterday was her moment to retool things and commit, and she doubled down. So yesterday, October 27th, the NDP rolled out its attack budget. And then at 3:46 p.m., Shell issued its press release. They're out of here. Do you see a pattern? Can you imagine how bad Shell thinks it's going to be if they'd rather lose $2 billion than press on? 1,450 families just lost their jobs. Some were working already, some had yet to start, but all those jobs are gone. So, front page news? Are you kidding me? The media doesn't care. They share the NDP's hatred for the oil sands. The Edmonton Journal put the story on page D1. What? D1? The Calgary Herald put this on D3. The Globe and Mail, Canada's national newspaper, put it on page B7. No one cares. 1,450 jobs? You know, there's a massive Honda factory in Ontario. They're so proud of it. That was a $2.6 billion plant. Shell just wrote off $2 billion. They were planning to invest even more, and yet barely a mention in the media. Could you imagine if they shut down that Honda plant? Do you think it would be on page Z25? Look, the media doesn't care because most reporters and editors are like the NDP. They really don't care that these jobs are gone. They hate Alberta and Alberta oil. They'd rather import conflict oil from OPEC than produce ethical oil ourselves and the six-figure jobs that go with it. Rachel Notley's attack on the oil sands just killed another 1,450 jobs. And she's getting away with it because the media just don't give a damn. I love Alberta. It's where I'm from. But you know what? Shell was smart. Would you put billions of dollars into Alberta right now? For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.